tired. I'm just going to go ahead and say this now. My dog, because it's just me and my dog, and I love her. I love her. She's been in my life for since she was 10 weeks old. And now she's 13 years old, and she was sick last night. She's fine now, but I stayed up like a good pet parent should. And I am sleepy and tired, but I'm here tonight, and I'm glad to be with you all. First, I want to start off, that was first, so let's go second. Second, I want to say that I have work to do. I know that, as Corin just shared with you all, that I am a licensed and ordained minister, but in my faith that I've been raised in and growing up in, people don't usually welcome women into the ministry. And so I come in, I always wear something like, boots with crosses on them, unks and things like that, and shake it up. And I just make sure they say, hey, I unapologetically have faith, and I'm unapologetically black and bald, and I just show up. So with that said, fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will lift you up with my righteous right hand. That is Isaiah 41:10, and that is a life-saving verse for me. And I got to tell you, when I say life-saving, I mean it in many ways. One, it saves my life over and over again. Every time I see it, I'm reminded of what happened to me when I first read it for the first time. And then it saved my life because when I first read it, I was contemplating suicide. And so I just had a hard time from 9 years old, then 12 years old, then 17 years old, and then somewhere up in between my early 20s, it just started resonating with me that fear not, for I am with you actually is real to me. And so beyond anything that anyone can find in a sacred text or what people say or what goes on in buildings, what was with me when I was lying on the side of the road, as I like to call it, as I lay dying, something was there and it was fully present, and it is why I'm alive today. So I never discount that presence, okay? So I'm going to get into why I was lying on the side of the road. I was with my father and my sister, my older sister. I was 9, she was 11, and we were traveling together on the night of July 26, 1988. And someone, or a couple of people, had the idea that they should throw a 17-pound cinder block from off of an overpass. And when I say cinder block, I want to make sure we're picturing the big brick, 2 holes in it, really heavy, right? 17 pounds. Someone threw it off of an overpass. And it went through our windshield of our vehicle, and it hit my father in his head, killing him instantly. The passenger side rider was me, and my sister was in the back asleep when that happened. I watched that happen, and I grabbed the wheel of our vehicle to hold us in the road because I realized no one was driving, and someone should. But then as I was holding the wheel, I remembered I'm 9 years old, I can't drive. I'm serious, that's exactly what happened. I know it's a tragic thing, but I took my hand off of the steering wheel because I panicked that I was trying to drive. And then I looked at my father. Don't want to be too graphic, but I'm used to it now. And at first it was so hard to see that image over and over again, which drove me to being more suicidal as I got older. But eyes open, head crushed in, and blood just protruding down his face. I saw that, and I just kind of, let go and withdrew into myself. Then I felt us leaving off of the interstate. We flipped over twice and landed right side up and slid into a tree. When we slid into a tree, I realized that we were in the woods because there was also a tree at my door, and it was right beside me. It was out of the window. It was at night. It was like 10-something that night, so it was very dark. But let me just put things into perspective for you. In 1988, we used to have radar detectors. Do people know what radar detectors are out in the crowd? Okay, so one of it started sparking a flame, right? We would use that to see how fast we were going, because of course when you're traveling at night, you want to get it done until somebody, is flashing lights around you to slow it down a bit, okay? And so it started sparking flames, and I realized we were in trouble, that a fire is starting, right? So I'm sitting on the passenger side in my seatbelt, tree on the side. My father is now leaning over into my lap. I can feel his blood on my legs, and my sister wakes up. She wakes up and she leans in between our seats and she's shaking him. Wake up, Dad, what happened? and she starts coughing. Why is there smoke in the car? What happened? And I'm just looking at the hole in the windshield, looking at her, and I couldn't really talk. For first, I couldn't talk because I was just in shock. Secondly, because I had glass in my mouth. And so I finally managed to say to her, we need to get out. That's the best I could do. We need to get out. Something inside of me was saying, you need to get out. We need to get out. So I'm telling her, we need to get out. So she tried to open the door that was his. It was jammed. So, back in the day, she just grabbed the rest of the window and rolled the rest of it down because my father started that before we had this terrible tragedy to happen. And the reason why he did that is because we were just talking. I was just sharing stories with him. Maybe he got hot and heated. I don't know. I won't go into the details of our story, but he rolled his window down enough to literally save our lives so that my sister was able to go over him out of that window. Then she reached for me and said, come on with you, we gotta get out. Well, he was on top of me, my seatbelt was jammed, but at that time I was smaller. And I don't mean just smaller as a 9-year-old child. I was really thin that I could go up and put my back up against the top of the vehicle, go over him. She reached for me, she pulls me out, we fall, and then we realize how far we are from the road. So we're going. Her collarbone has been broken and it's piercing out of her neck. She can't feel it, but I can see it. And of course, she's traumatized too. So I don't say anything. And then she's walking funny. Later we found out that her pelvic bone had shifted out of place. And even though I was bleeding myself from the glass, what we didn't know is I was also bleeding on the inside. My liver had been lacerated. So what I knew was I had glass in my mouth. I felt excessively thirsty. I was very tired, and we were trying to make it. That was the longest walk I think I ever had. I don't even know how far it was to get to the top of the road. And when we got there, my sister said, we need to wait for help. But we don't know why people weren't traveling that much that night. Every now and then a car would pass by. And maybe they just didn't see us because they never stopped. But then one person did, and we were walking closer. They said, no, stay right there, stay right there. I forgot what we looked like. I was like, we're children, but of course, blood off her, blood, I'm sure they were terrified. They said, stay right there, we'll go get help. They left us there, and they left, and it seemed like forever we didn't know if they were coming back. So my sister she made up her mind that she's going to go and find help. She said, I'm going to go walk. Can you come with me? And I said, no. I said, I don't feel good. You go. And she told me this, promise me you won't die. Oh, God. Promise me you won't die if I leave you. And I said, okay. And I was really thinking about it. Should I accept this or not? Should I say yes? And then she wouldn't leave until I said yes, so I just wanted her to get started. So I said, I promise. So after she left, after I was lying there, I remember, because I was on my side, my arm was stretched out, and I was facing the road. I remember thinking, I'm so tired. I don't know if I can stay alive like I told her. I think I'm going to die. And then I started to think about, what can I do in this moment? I remember my dad is passed out in the vehicle. There's a spark on the radar detector on that cord, and I don't know if she's gonna make it back, but I promised her I wouldn't die. And then I panicked for real. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I really do not know what I'm going to do. So I started to cry. But I also started to cry out to God because of all these churches that we went to. I remember people said, if you need God, you just call out to him. If you want God, just start communicating with God. If you want God, just start speaking to God. If you want God, just say something. And I said, God, are you there? That was the best I could do. Are you there? Because I started to experience a little bit of guilt. Here's why. When we went to church, I only went for the food. I just got to be honest. After church, we went to the best restaurants. Well, I don't know, it's like quail's nest and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You get all kinds of food. You get the Jell-O, the biscuits. You got some good stuff. Or if we were going to eat at home, we went to Dairy Queen and got the cup with the vanilla. And sometimes Mom would let us get the fudge or the chocolate, whatever. It was on and popping after church, so we could just survive without getting pinched. When we act up, me and my sister, we were going to get to the good stuff. And I remember just waiting, watching everybody. Sometimes somebody mentioned the churches. Sometimes the churches were up and happening. People were doing things. Sometimes somebody was shouting like, whoa, what's going on over here? The choir was singing either beautifully or terrible, and my sister and I would laugh if somebody was off key. But it was all playing for me. So as I'm lying on the side of the road, calling out to this God that I wasn't even sure who God is or if God could hear me, but I started talking. Are you there? Well, I'll tell you this. One thing that no one could ever have me to deny is there was a presence there with me. That presence was caressing my face in a way that was soothing me. And as I was crying and I couldn't get the glass out of my throat, it was telling me to calm down. And as it was doing it, and I realized, okay, I need to shift myself and get air until I was, and I could breathe. And you guys, I wasn't thinking this myself. Something was aiding me in this, and I was just doing it, right? And then, of course, fast forward the story, I could hear people calling my name, Tonya, Tonya. And I was like, who are these people? Because it was men voices, and then finally one of them made it to stepping on my fingers. I didn't realize how tall the grass was. And he said, hi, my name is something, whatever. And this is my son. I said, okay, and your sister made it to this truck stop. I'm a truck driver. This is and I said, okay. And then he said, an ambulance is coming. And she said that you and your father here, where's your dad? So I tried to turn all the way around to see where my dad was or what was left of the vehicle. But while I was doing that, they were deciding, no, don't touch her. No, let her do, leave her alone. Let her stay still. And I was like, just help me sit up. Anyway, by this time, the ambulance made it. And as they put me on the stretcher, I could turn and fully see what was going on. Our vehicle was fully inflamed. My dad's body inside and everything. Okay, so of course, being hospitalized, I said I had internal injuries. I was in the hospital for a very long time, so of course my sister and I did not attend our dad's funeral. And every time I would go to where there's a grave and see the headstone, survivor's guilt kicked in. Why him, not me? Could I have done more to save him? Or I don't know, all kinds of weird things that led me to just dreaming of this every night almost. And the nights I did it, I would just stay up until I fell asleep and it was time to get up, and then finally I started again. God, are you there? I need you like I needed you on the side of the road. I need you like, whatever. I said, please heal my thoughts. Can you get my mind to a place that I can have peace? Can you help me rest? And I just remember picking up books and journaling and writing and everything and just pouring out. And when I went to church, I didn't really care what the people were doing and everything because I didn't believe that they really believed what they were learning. But sometimes the way they treated each other, the way they acted outside of it wasn't convincing. But all I know is, for sure, that presence that was with me has taught me this. Whenever I encounter people, I never know what their story is because I know mine. They may just be holding it enough together to walk past and get to their car. They may be trying their best to get through that day because they are thinking about something that's going on at their home, in their lives, in their health, with their family and everything like that. So the least I can do when I'm passing another human being, I can smile. I can say hello because I recognize that you're going through your thing and I'm going through mine. And I see another human being, and that is how I live my life. That is my faith. All the other stuff, I'm just really trying to show people that yes, I am here. I don't know the whole facts of what it is that was with me, but I know it was real, it was sincere, it was kind, it was compassionate, and that told me to treat other people that way. It just has. Show people what I showed you. And that's how I live. All the other stuff, we'll get it all right, I guess, when it's time to see it. When somebody tells us that, hey, you got it all wrong, at that time we'll hear it then, but for now, I'm just going to be kind and compassionate and show mercy and grace and express love because great love was expressed to me. And that's how I live my life. So I didn't find God. God found me lying on the side of the road and has been with me ever since.